Learn to trust yourself, tune into your intuition, and surrender to the pose in today's Yin Yoga sequence. Hello and welcome back. My name is Morgan with Morganlee Yoga, and this is another video in our series of self-discovery, rediscovering who we are apart from motherhood as a woman, as an individual. This is an important part of our self-care routine, knowing what we enjoy, incorporating those into our lives, and really learning to trust ourselves. Today is all about our intuition, learning to trust ourselves, following our passions, and nurturing our mind and body. During a self-care and rediscovery journey, it can be really hard to know what is being prompted by outside sources and what is being prompted internally. And I think it is so important to have that connection inward, to trust yourself, to know when to set boundaries, to trust yourself, to know when things are working good and when things aren't, and when you need to make a little shift or when you need to lean into something even more. It's all about finding a balance in your life and really trusting your inner compass to find authenticity in your everyday life. It is so important for us to have this connection, especially if you are trying to go on a health journey, especially if you are trying to enhance your relationships. You need to be able to trust yourself and know without a doubt that you've got your own back. So today I want to guide you through a Yin Yoga sequence that is going to let you slow down, breathe, and be present in the moment. Really learning to sink into these poses and surrender to the moment. So you can start to trust your body, trust your mind, and really find that inner connection and that intuition again. Yin Yoga is a slow style of yoga where you hold each pose for several breaths. I am going to guide you into each pose, and then we are going to pause and be there for about 10 breaths, give or take a little. I'm not going to set my watch and go right on the dot for each pose here, but we are going to stay there. And I think it is important while you are in these poses to really stay present in the moment. Surrender to the pose. Try not to let your mind wander too far away. Bring it back to the mat, back to your body, and see if you can really go inward and focus on what it is your body is trying to tell you, what your heart and your mind are trying to tell you as well. It will be very helpful and a little more comfortable if you have some props today. So grab what you have around your house. If you have a pair of blocks or something similar in shape and size, grab those. Grab any kind of pillows that you have. These were just off my back bed. I don't actually have bolsters. I know. It's on my list to get. And maybe a blanket. The blanket can be used multiple ways. And one of those could just be to wrap up if you're feeling a little chilly. Since this sequence is not going to be really fast-paced moving, you're not going to be building up a lot of heat. It's really passive, low to the ground, and still. Let's begin. We are going to start in Malasana, the yogi squat. So let's start standing and we'll get into our squat from a standing position. So go ahead and come up, bring your feet about hip width apart, and then go ahead and turn your toes out towards the side. Take a big breath in, reach for the sky. Exhale, hands kiss together, come through heart center, and then from here, bend through your knees and squat all the way down towards the earth, keeping your heels connected to the ground. You can kind of widen your stance here if that's a little more comfortable. And if this is not available to you, use your props. You can sit on them if it's a little more comfortable. Bring the earth up to you. And if this is just super not available to you, then come all the way down to the earth. Maybe take a child's pose with your knees out wide or something similar to that. But if you can, get into this yogi squat. push your elbows into your knees, push them outward, engage that core, pull your pelvis down and up, shoulders back. We want to have a gap here on the ground. We don't want to be sitting on the earth, and we want to be engaged here the whole time. And when you feel settled in, go ahead and close your eyes and breathe in and out through your nose, long deep breaths. And since this sequence is all about intuition and trusting yourself, I am going to be quiet myself during these poses and let you just have a moment of introspection. Stay here in this pose a little bit longer. Stick with it. Bring your attention back to the mat. 3 more breaths. And slowly open your eyes, bring your hands down to the earth, and go ahead and slowly start to straighten your legs. Come all the way back up, nice and easy here. Come all the way up into a standing position. Now our next pose is going to be close to the earth again. So go ahead and come down onto your knees, maybe coming to all fours here, and we'll get into it from a tabletop position. We are going to come into lizard pose, starting with our left foot. So walk both hands towards the right side of your mat and bring your left foot up to the outside edge of your left hand. And then you can walk your right knee back a little bit more. Now this is a great place to use a block or 2 up here under your hands, and maybe even bringing a pillow underneath that back knee, because we are going to be pausing here for a few moments. So this might make it more comfortable. You find what feels good for you here. Now you can stay up high like this using a block, or you can come down lower onto your mat or onto a block using your forearms. Play around here, find a position that feels the best for you today. And then I invite you to close your eyes, and we're going to breathe here. About 10-ish breaths, but try not to count, just be where you are, and I will guide you out when the time is right. one more breath in. Slowly come up to the palms of your hands first. And then from here, we are going to stretch the other direction on this same leg before we go into the other side. So just straightening through your front leg here, bringing your hips back. We're coming into a half lunge. If you have those blocks, go ahead and bring them to both sides of your left leg here. And then sink low, flatten your back, gaze down, and pause here. We're just stretching the opposite direction. Breathing. And because this one is less of a passive pose and more active, we won't be here as long, but we still are going to pause for introspection and reflection. So try to keep a long line in your neck and your spine here, and breathe. Don't worry so much about getting super low. If your blocks are up high like this, that works too. Take one more breath here. On your exhale, shift forward back into that left leg. Go ahead and bring that left knee back in line with your right. Hands back down to the earth, tabletop position. Now we're gonna do all of that on the right side. You can switch your blanket over, shift it over just a little so it's under your left knee. And then bring your hands to the outside edge of that mat, to the left. And then you can step your right foot to the outside edge of that right hand. If you need to shift your left foot back a little, go ahead and do that. And bring in that block up on your hands or on your forearms. Find what feels good on this side. Pause here, go inward, connect to that breath. See if you can use your breath to stay present here on the mat, feeling all the sensations in your body, but really trusting yourself, trusting your heart and your mind to speak to you here. And on your next exhale, go ahead and come back up onto your hands. Bring in a second block if you have it, and slowly straighten through that right leg, shifting your hips back into our half splits position, bringing your right toes up towards the sky. Long line through your spine up to the crown of your head, and slowly sink down, lowering your gaze. Pause here. Again, you can use these blocks to be up a little higher. It's less about that and more about the integrity of the pose here. So breathe, focus. Again, we won't be holding this one as long, but we do want to be here for a few moments. then slowly gaze forward, shift into that front foot, step your right foot back to meet your left, and come back down into your tabletop position. So if you were using a blanket, go ahead and remove that now so that your knees can be flat to the earth. And the next pose we are going to do is hero. Now this is a very active hip pose, and it might not be available for some people. And if that is you, then you can try to just do one leg at a time. I will show you that variation after I walk you into the full variation. So go ahead and bring our knees wide here, about as wide as our mat, and slowly walk your hands back, sinking your hips down to the earth. So you should have, move these pillows so you can see, legs on both sides of your body like this, okay? And then from here, if that feels okay, go ahead and slowly bring your hands back behind you, and then slowly lower down from here, little by little, until you reach your limit. You can come onto your forearms. If this is good, you can bring a few props to support you under here, like your blocks or a blanket. Or if you want to go even further, remove your hands, come all the way to the earth. You can bring a pillow underneath your back here, or underneath your head even. And then your hands can just stay on your hips or rest at your sides. When you find a position that's comfortable for you, pause and breathe there. And now let me just slowly, Now let me guide those of you who cannot do both legs at once. Let me show you what it looks like to just do one leg at a time. So you'll have one knee bent and the other leg straight out in front of you, bringing your hips and your glutes to the earth. So you look like this, one leg bent, one leg flat. And then from here, you can slowly start to come down to the earth, meeting your body where it feels the best. And that might be up here, and that is great and okay if it is. You can use props to support your back here, so you're not having to hold up your full body weight with your arms. You might even come a little lower and add another prop underneath your head. So just get creative here. All right, so find the position that works best for you. Settle in and breathe. Go inward. Surrender to the pose. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, very carefully and slowly start to come back up, coming up to your forearms, gently walking your hands underneath you, and then coming into your tabletop position. And then from here, you can swing your legs around and bring them out in front of you for our last Yin Yoga pose of this sequence. We will be doing a seated forward fold. So again, I encourage you, use these props. Maybe sit up on a pillow, up like this. You could bring another pillow or a rolled up blanket underneath your knees. Lots of options here. You can also put a pillow on your lap to drape over. So when you find something that feels good to you, inhale your hands to the sky. Exhale, lean forward, and then let your hands drop to the mat and sink back. We don't want to be reaching for our toes. We want them to sink back here. And so we can find stillness here in this pose, releasing a little bit more. Now for me here, I feel like I want something to rest my head on. So I might bring even a little bit more in. That feels really good for me. So hopefully you can find a version here that feels good for you as well. And let's take this final moment of introspection to listen and trust. Take one last breath here. On your exhale, slowly coming all the way up, you can move your props to the side. And then cross your legs or find a seat that is the most comfortable for you. Thank you for going on this journey of self-discovery with me today. I really, truly hope you are able to find that connection to your intuition and that you are able to nurture both your mind and your body and build up a little bit of trust there with yourself. This journey of rediscovery is not easy. It can be emotional and it can be a little bit scary, especially when you're first starting out. And if you can really lean into this trust and knowing that you've got your own back, it's going to make it that much easier and honestly, a lot more fun. I want to offer you an invitation to join me online for Zoom yoga class in our Serenity Collective membership, yoga for overwhelmed moms and yoga for moms who have special needs children. This is a place for you to find serenity amongst the everyday chaos of your life, a place to find community, and to really start to build in moments of calm and reflection and peace into your life. Thank you again for joining me today, and we'll end today's practice by bringing our hands to our heart center and bowing our head to say namaste.